In NASCAR, winning is everything, so it is fair to assume that drivers who win the most will be remembered the longest. But for some drivers, despite winning in one of NASCAR's 3 national divisions, their careers never fully take off, or they are cut short for one reason or another, which often leads them to become forgotten about by most fans rather quickly. This phenomenon is especially prevalent in the Craftsman Truck Series, NASCAR's lowest national division, where young and inexperienced drivers come and go the quickest. Since around 2010, nearly all drivers who wanted a shot in the Cup Series have had to cut their teeth in trucks. And while many current Cup drivers like Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, Christopher Bell, and many more all excelled in this series with multiple wins and even championships, there have been plenty more who may have gotten a win or two but overall fell short of performing to Cup or Xfinity Series standards. Or alternatively, some drivers who realistically never had a shot at a Cup ride or who are long past their prime have made off with Truck Series wins before their prompt exit or re-exit from NASCAR, and their wins have become equally forgotten. For this list, I'll only be including drivers who won a truck race in the year 2010 or later, and who were not full-time Cup drivers when they got set to win. So without further ado, let's get right into the top 10 most forgotten NASCAR Truck Series winners of the 2010s. Up first in the list in the number 10 spot is Cale Gale. Following a win in the 2006 ARCA race at Gateway, Gale attracted an offer from Kevin Harvick Incorporated to make select ARCA, Truck, and even Nationwide Series starts in 2007. The then 22-year-old Gale didn't quite perform up to his expectations, however, as though he finished top 5 in all 3 of his ARCA races. He only picked up a best finish of 9th in 5 truck races and a best of 13th in 7 nationwide races. He returned to KHI for an increased Nationwide Series schedule the next year, where he was able to score both his first pole and top 5 finish at Bristol. But still, with a little funding, he didn't receive any more notable offers until 2012, when Eddie Sharp Racing signed him on for his first full-time truck season. Overall, Gale's rookie truck campaign was pretty average as he headed into the final race at Homestead, sitting 12th in points, with 2 top 5s and 7 top 10s. But he wasn't going into the offseason without giving it his all one last time. After qualifying 5th, Gale hovered just outside the top 5 for most of the race, but thanks to a late race incident between Kyle Larson and championship contender Ty Dillon, Gale moved up to restart alongside Kyle Busch on the front row for the ensuing green-white checkered finish. And I believe this finish is only justly served by being viewed in its entirety.
2012 season. Green flag back in the air. Kyle Busch with a great restart once again.
And you talked about Paluto. He's looking to the inside. Look at Johnny Slaughter going up the middle, trying to get between Joey Coulter and Cale Gale.
4 wide as they come out of turn number 2. Timothy Peters doing whatever he can to try to get a glimmer of hope for this championship as you see the 3 on the apron way down against the inside wall.
Will Kyle Busch get to victory lane for the first time in 2012 in his truck?
This time by, the white flag will fly one more time around in the 2012 season.
Look at the run that Cale Gale got off turn 4. He drove right up on the tailgate of Kyle Busch.
Cale Gale looks to the inside. Kyle Busch right in the middle of the racetrack. Coming out at 2. Cale Gale goes to the inside. No contact made. Cale Gale has the advantage down the backstretch. Now here comes Kyle Busch once again. Into turn 3. Kyle Busch running the middle. Cale Gale the inside as they come out of turn number 4. Cale Gale with the advantage. Does the momentum carry Kyle Busch back to the start-finish line? They hit. They come across.
Cale Gale wins.
Cale Gale will win at Homestead.
Whoa. How about that? What a great job by Cale Gale.
Cale Gale rubbing against Kyle Busch as they came out of turn number 4.
You got it.
Cale Gale wins the last race of the year.
It turned out that was not only Gale's last opportunity of the season, but more or less the last opportunity of his career, as he would only make 3 starts with Turner Scott Motorsports in 2013, and 1 final start with MDM Motorsports in 2017 before his days as a driver in NASCAR would come to an end. In the 9th spot is Greg Biffle. While Biffle is obviously most known for his time as a Cup driver, where he won 19 times over the course of 14 full-time seasons, as some might remember, he came out of his initial retirement to drive in a one-off race for Kyle Busch Motorsports in 2019. That race at Texas Motor Speedway was the first time that Biffle, the year 2000 truck champion, had been behind the wheel of a NASCAR truck since 2004, and of a NASCAR stock car in general since 2016. But nevertheless, he was able to hold off a hard-charging Matt Crafton in the final laps and bring it to victory lane at the age of 49. Biffle made one more truck start in 2020 for GMS Racing and took all of 2021 off, leading many fans to believe he'd officially retired once and for all. But then out of nowhere, he returned to the Cup Series part-time last year with the revived NY Racing team. Unfortunately, in 4 out of his 5 starts, he suffered mechanical problems, but in the one he didn't at Atlanta, he came home a very respectable 20th place. As of now, it does not appear the NY Racing team or Biffle will be returning this season, but I guess anything is possible. Coming in 8th is another Cup Series veteran, Michael Waltrip. After racing full-time in the Cup Series from 1986 to 2009 with 4 wins to his name, including 2 Daytona 500s, Waltrip entered into the 2011 season-opening truck race in a one-off deal with Billy Balu Motorsports. The race was set to fall on February 18th, which would mark the 10th anniversary of both Waltrip's first Daytona 500 win and Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s fatal crash. That said, the day was even made more special when Waltrip pulled ahead of Elliott Sadler coming out of the front stretch on the final lap and went on to pick up his first ever Truck Series win and what would be his last win in NASCAR. Waltrip never made another start in the Truck Series, but continued racing the super speedways in the Cup Series all the way through the 2017 Daytona 500, in which he ended his career on a high note with an impressive 8th place finish for Premium Motorsports. 7th on the list is a guy who some newer fans may still recognize, but not necessarily as a driver. I'm talking about NASCAR executive and great-grandson of Bill France Sr., Ben Kennedy. Ben began his driving career in the K&N Pro Series East, where in 3 seasons with his family team, he scored 2 wins and a best points finish of 4th. In 2014, he moved up to the Truck Series full-time with Turner Scott Motorsports and put together a decent rookie year with 1 top 5 and 7 top 10s. He jumped ship to Red Horse Racing for the full 2015 schedule, and after very similar results, he was originally planning to race for them again in 2016. However, just 3 races in, Kennedy would accept an offer from GMS Racing to drive the number 33 truck for the remainder of the season. His performance bettered slightly from before, but his only notable achievement would be his first and only career Truck Series victory, which came at Bristol Motor Speedway after holding off his former Red Horse number 11 truck driven by Brett Moffitt in the final laps. That win would actually qualify him for the inaugural Truck Series playoffs, and he would make it to the round of 6 before being eliminated and finishing 7th in the final standings. The next year, Kennedy competed part-time in the Xfinity Series, bouncing between the Richard Childress Racing number 2 car and the GMS Racing number 96 for a combined 16 races. But it was fairly clear after only 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s that season that Ben was never going to be racing in Cup on a consistent basis, so he smartly decided to take his efforts to the business side of NASCAR. In the 6th spot is John West Townley, and side note for the purpose of this video, I will only be talking about his on-track life. Anyway, if the term paid driver was added to the dictionary, John West Townley's name would most likely be included in an example sentence. In 2008, John came into the sport hot, competing for RAB Racing full-time in ARCA and part-time in Nationwide, and even with Roush Fenway Racing part-time in trucks, all thanks to sponsorship from his father's popular fast food chain, Zaxby's. As for his results during this ambitious schedule, he totaled 1 top 5 and 8 top 10s in ARCA, and not a single top 10 in any of his Trucker Nationwide Series starts. Well, did he at least take care of his equipment? No, not particularly. His 4 crash-related DNFs in ARCA were not necessarily embarrassing or unheard of, but out of his 7 truck races, he crashed out 3 times, and out of his 7 attempted nationwide races, he crashed out twice, failed to qualify for 4, and suffered engine failure in the other. Now that is embarrassing. So naturally, John was promoted by RAB Racing to run the full 2009 nationwide season. Oh yeah. In his rookie campaign, John successfully finished his first race, but that's about it, because he failed to qualify for 6 races, crashed out of 7, and never finished better than 16th. In 2010, Richard Childress Racing ordered up that Zaxby's crash combo for themselves, but after 5 races, they realized he was still not in fact a good driver, and after a few more races with the RAB team that year, John disappeared off the face of the earth for all of 2011, before making his epic return in 2012 for the full Truck Series schedule with RAB Racing. While starting in Martinsville due to his at-fault involvement in a DUI car accident. But over the course of the next few years, John actually showed good improvement as he recorded 2 top 10s in 2012, 7 while driving for Red Horse Racing in 2013, and 4 while driving an incomplete schedule in 2014. Heading into 2015, John was tabbed to go back full-time in the Truck Series, but now racing for his family team, Athenian Motorsports. No matter, prior to the 18th run at Las Vegas, his results were already nearly at an all-time high as he finished in the top 10 6 times, including a career-best 3rd place. But at Las Vegas, all the pieces finally connected for Townley and the 0-5 team, because after he qualified 2nd place and kept it inside the top 5 for most of the night, he played the fuel mileage game better than anyone else and went on to pick up his first and only career victory. Then, following a rather eventful and step back of a 2016 season, John decided to hang up the helmet for good and was involved in various legal problems until his death in 2021. Coming in 5th is another textbook paid driver, Brian Scott. For whatever reason, I remembered him as only having won an Xfinity Series race, but as it turns out, his only wins in the top 3 divisions of NASCAR came in the Truck Series. His first came with Express Motorsports at Dover in 2009, but what earned him a spot on this list was his 2012 win at Phoenix. While competing in his second nationwide season for Joe Gibbs Racing, the Cowboys Motorsports team also gave him some select truck starts in their flagship number 18. After 4 races, Scott hadn't gone too far beyond his expectations, with a best finish of 5th and an average finish of 11.3. But his 5th and final race at Phoenix was a whole nother story. There, he qualified 3rd and took full advantage of his superior KBM equipment to lead 48 of the 153 laps and beat out Kyle Larson in a green-white checkered finish to claim his 2nd career win. Overall, looking back at Scott's career, he wasn't all that bad in trucks and Xfinity. Sure, he never won a single Xfinity race after 2 seasons with Joe Gibbs Racing and 3 with Richard Childress Racing, but he finished runner-up 4 times and even ranked 4th in the 2014 points. Additionally, he was known for taking good care of his equipment throughout his entire racing tenure, up until his abysmal 2016 Cup season. Speaking of which, it's safe to say Scott never had a place in the Cup Series, but he very well could have worked out a solid career in the lower series. But instead, he would only enter 2 Xfinity Series races in 2017 before voluntarily retiring from racing. In 4th is arguably the biggest one-hit wonder in all of NASCAR, John King. In 2010 and 2011, John entered the Truck Series racing part-time for a variety of backmarker teams and not posting any notable results. Still, he was able to attract the attention of one of the better truck teams, Red Horse Racing, to which he signed on for the full 2012 season. Oh yeah, and then he just went goblin mode at Daytona and won.
When he ran so strong all night long.
See if we can take a look at what happens here.
Oh, end finger moves up a little bit. Is that right?
Looked like was that end finger or was that Clay Greenfield? And the other red truck, number 68.
One of the red truck moved up, and Cale Gale was there. It bounced Cale sideways. Got some trucks coming to pit roads.
Take another look. Real time as they're coming into the tri-oval. It's the 7.
It's the 7 of John King. Another one of the red trucks that moved up the racetrack into Cale Gale.
Look at Matt Crafton sliding sideways. Trucks crashing by.
Enough experience to know how to get by Johnny Sauter if he has that opportunity. 3 wide coming through turn number 4.
Hornaday just didn't get a start that time, Phil.
Sure didn't.
He's fallen all the way back outside the top 10.
Oh, and around goes Johnny Sauter. John King got in the back of him, and Sauter goes into the wall. He'll collect his teammate Matt Crafton as they come to the start-finish line. We will have another restart. They did not receive the white flag before Sauter got around and into the tri-oval.
Stay on the yellow line. They're trying to make something happen up top here. Stay on the yellow line.
Jason White, and around they go. That will bring the caution out as Joey Coulter goes flying into the catch fence just past the start-finish line, and that will mean John King will win at Daytona. The caution came out just as the pack made it past the start-finish line.
After winning the season opener at the expense of 10 or so wrecked trucks, King had mixed results in the next 4 races before his team ran out of funding to field his truck any longer, and he was left without a ride. He was able to ink together 2 races with Waters Motorsports later that season, but other than that, he just raced the season opener for the next 2 years, but never came close to backing up his win, and then faded out of the public eye completely. In the 3rd spot is another one-hit wonder, but of a lesser extent, Justin Lofton. Well, a one-hit wonder at NASCAR at least, because he actually won 7 ARCA races and the 2009 championship. And by the way, that wasn't just any standard ARCA championship. Justin and his Eddie Sharp Racing number 6 machine led a staggering 1,005 of the 2,926 total laps in the series that year. Now that is domination. Unfortunately, that did not carry over into his rookie Truck Series season, as now driving for Red Horse Racing, he only scored 4 top 5s and 8 top 10s en route to a 12th place points finish. In 2011, he even suffered a sophomore slump, only recording 3 top 10s in a split season between Germain Racing and Eddie Sharp's team. But the third time was a charm for Lofton, as returning to Eddie Sharp Racing full-time in 2012, he finished either top 5 or top 10 in the first 4 races, before going on to finally get his first career win at Charlotte. But that was as far as Lofton would ever go in NASCAR, as his consistency faded throughout the rest of his season to finish 8th in points. Afterwards, he seemingly voluntarily stepped down from full-time NASCAR racing to focus on stadium super truck racing, but he still competed part-time in the Truck Series for the next 2 years, where he finished as high as 2nd in the 2014 Texas race. Coming in runner-up on this list is one of the more successful journeyman drivers in NASCAR, Mike Wallace. Though he never finished better than runner-up in a Cup race, Wallace had a good amount of wins in the 2 lower divisions, especially the Truck Series. Competing full-time in this series from 1998 to the year 2000, he picked up 4 wins and ranked a best of 4th in the year 2000 points. Over the next decade, Wallace would bounce between a variety of smaller teams into the then Busch Series and Cup Series, but he carried on a NASCAR winless streak dating back to the 2004 Summer Daytona Busch race. Then, pretty much out of nowhere in 2011, he was offered a one-off race deal with Kevin Harvick Incorporated for the Talladega Truck Race. At that point, Wallace had not raced in trucks since 2009 and had not entered more than 1 race per season since 2007. But no matter, he shook off the rust and put on a show, leading 54 of the 94 laps and breaking his multi-year-long winless streak. Oddly enough, Wallace would never race in the Truck Series again, and that would end up being his final NASCAR win. Now for some quick honorable mentions. First up is Nelson Piquet Jr. The Brazilian sports car racer actually won 3 times during his brief time in NASCAR, and all in the year 2012. His lone win in the Nationwide Series was rather expected, coming at the Road America road course, but his 2 truck wins were actually at the oval tracks of Michigan and Las Vegas, which put on full display just how diverse and adaptable of a driver he is. But again, due to his quick entrance and exit of NASCAR, he and his wins remain mostly forgotten. Next in the honorable mentions is Jeb Burton. Prior to his 2021 Xfinity Series triumph at Talladega, Jeb's only NASCAR win came back in the 2013 Truck Series spring race at Texas. In his rookie season with Turner Scott Motorsports, Jeb had already won 3 poles in just the first 6 races, and had even led 154 laps in Martinsville, but he finally executed the full race at Texas. He would go on to end his impressive rookie year with a 1 win, 7 total poles, and an impressive 5th place finish in the point standings. However, the next year, in what seemed to be an upgrade in equipment with Thor Sport Racing, Jeb failed to win another race, and his stats fell down across the board. He was released from the team at season's end, and had to bounce between a variety of part-time rides in all 3 series up until 2021. The third and final honorable mention goes to Eric Almirola for his truck wins at Dover and Michigan in 2010. At that point, Eric was not full-time in the Cup Series, but rather full-time with the Billy Ballo's team in trucks. Eric even went on to finish 2nd in that year's points to Todd Bodine, so it could just be me, but I feel like Eric Almirola's time in trucks has been largely forgotten about. But now, for we've all been waiting for, the number 1 most forgotten winner in the NASCAR Truck Series from the 2010s, Joey Coulter. Coulter entered the national stock car racing scene through ARCA back in 2009, racing for his family team's number 16 Chevrolet. Over the course of 2 decent seasons, Coulter picked up a lone win at Berlin in 2010, before moving up to the Truck Series with Richard Childress Racing in 2011. The young Coulter looked to have promise right off the bat, ending his rookie campaign with 5 top 5s, 13 top 10s, and a solid 7th place points finish. In the next year, Coulter took the next step up just as he was more or less expected to, as he scored his first career win at Pocono, and bettered his stats overall to wind up in improved 3rd place in points. With numbers like those, it was clear to all of the big teams that Coulter had Cup Series potential. And so the next year, he was picked up by Kyle Busch Motorsports and was tabbed to drive their flagship number 18 truck. Though I wasn't in tune with all the silly season news at the time, I'm pretty sure most fans had Coulter as the championship favorite, or at least wouldn't have been surprised if he went on a multi-win tear. But that's not what happened, at all. Not only did Coulter not back up his win, but he had quite possibly the quickest fall-off I've ever seen for a driver in top equipment, as he only went on to score 3 top 5s and 5 top 10s, en route to a miserable 15th place points finish. For context, John West Townley finished 11th overall that year. Just as shocked as everyone else was probably, Kyle Busch Motorsports released Coulter after whatever that was, but Coulter was still lucky enough to get a second chance with GMS Racing for 2014. That year, he pretty much just matched his rookie year stats with no wins and another 7th place points finish. With a season as forgettable as that one, a season as terrible as the one prior, and struggles to find sponsorship, Coulter was out of a ride entirely come 2015 and never made another start in NASCAR again. Well, I guess until he made 3 starts in the Whelen Modified Tour last year. But yeah, those are my picks for the 10 most forgotten about NASCAR Truck Series winners of the 2010s. Let me know down in the comments if you guys thought of any drivers that I didn't, who you feel are even more forgotten about. Also, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like these. For the next video, I'll be doing another episode of the Were They That Bad series. And after that, I'll be starting up a new series where I'll be going over the best races for notoriously slow NASCAR teams. But yeah, that's all for today, so until next time, peace out.